history of Los Angeles from Wikipedia. The history of Los Angeles began in 1781 when 44 settlers from central New Spain, which is now modern Mexico, they established a permanent settlement in what is now downtown Los Angeles, as instructed by Spanish governor of Las Californias, Felipe de Neve, and authorized by Viceroy Antonio Maria de Bucareli. After sovereignty changed from Mexico to the United States in 1848, great changes came from the completion of the Santa Fe Railroad line from Chicago to Los Angeles in 1885. Overlanders flooded in, mostly white Protestants from the lower Midwest and the South. Los Angeles had a strong economic base in farming, oil, tourism, real estate, and movies. It grew rapidly with many suburban areas inside and outside the city limits. Its motion picture industry made the city world famous, and World War II brought new industry, especially high-tech aircraft construction. Politically, the city was moderately conservative, with a weak labor union sector. Since the 1960s, growth has slowed, and traffic delays have become infamous. Los Angeles was a pioneer in freeway development as the public transit system deteriorated. New arrivals, especially from Mexico and Asia, have transformed the demographic base since the 1960s. Old industries have declined, including farming, oil, military and aircraft. But tourism, entertainment, and high tech remain strong. Over time, droughts and wildfires have increased in frequency and become less seasonal and more year-round, further straining the city's water security. Early times. This is really early times, Los Angeles. Wow. By 3000 BCE, that was before Christ. That was when we only had the Old Testament to show us right from wrong. In 3000 BCE, the area was occupied by the Hokan-speaking people of the Milling Stone period, who hunted, fished, they hunted sea animals and gathered wild seeds. Actually, they didn't have the Old Testament. They didn't know what the Old Testament was. So Jesus would give them a chance. When Jesus descended down into Hades or Sheol, all these people awaited judgment. And he showed them Jesus. He showed them his ways, his gospel of Jesus. And then they had a chance to either accept it or not. And the ones who accepted it made it to heaven. So the really good Indians had a chance and they made it to heaven. So the Hokan-speaking people were later replaced by migrants, possibly fleeing drought in the Great Basin, who spoke a Udo-Aztecan language called Tongva. The Tongva people called the Los Angeles region Ya in that tongue. By the 1700s CE, there were 250,000 to 300,000 native people in California and 5,000 in the Los Angeles Basin. Wow, there were 5,000 people in the Los Angeles Basin. The land occupied and used by the Tongva covered about 4,000 square miles, or 10,000 square kilometers. It included the enormous floodplain drained by the Los Angeles and San Gabriel rivers in the southern Channel Islands, including the Santa Barbara, San Clemente, Santa Catalina, and San Nicolas Islands. They were part of a sophisticated group of trading partners that included the Chumash to the west, the Cahuilla, actually, they call it a little more white sounding words and a little more Hispanic sounding words. It depends, because it eventually became America, as we read in the 1800s. The Cahuilla and the Mojave to the east, and the Juaninos and Luiseños to the south. Their trade extended to the Colorado River and included slavery. See, there were Indians in Mexico, South America, North America, America. There were Indians there, and then the Spanish and Italians came and discovered America and came and discovered Mexico. And that's why they got them to speak Spanish in Mexico, and eventually somehow they spoke English, because the English had control until the Revolutionary War in America. So anyway, this is in Los Angeles, and all these different Indians lived there. And included the enormous floodplain drained by the Los Angeles and San Gabriel rivers and the southern Channel Islands, including the Santa Barbara, San Clemente, Santa Catalina, and San Nicolas Islands. They were part of a sophisticated group of trading partners that included the Chumash to the west, the Cahuilla, the Mojave to the east, the Juaninos, the Luiseños, yes, to the south. The trade extended to the Colorado River, included slavery. Okay, we got that already. Okay. Wow, look at this. The lives of the Tongva were governed by a set of religious and cultural practices that included belief in the creative supernatural forces. Wow. They included a belief in creative supernatural forces that were from God, of course. They worshipped Chinig, a creator god. Wow. And Chukit, a female virgin god. Chuck that one. It's actually called Chukit. You know, because God is not female, God's a male. But men and women are equal. God created us equal. We're equal to a man. But God, you know, is way more beautiful than a man or woman. Their great mourning ceremony was based on a belief in the afterlife. Oh, so they believed in the afterlife too. They knew that there was a heaven after you died, I guess. And this stuff is maybe in the Bible, and there are so many prophecies in the Bible that we don't yet understand. But the more we read the Bible, the more these amazing, beautiful new things we understand. We start to go, oh wow, aliens are really angels. Aliens are really angels. And it's really cool and beautiful. I hear Al downstairs. I think he's going to get the electric. Well, he just went outside. Their great mourning ceremony was based on a belief in the afterlife. In a purification ritual, they drank tolguachi, tolguaque, or something like that. Tolguaque. I don't know. I guess that's kind of how they would say it. A hallucinogenic made from Jimson weed and salt water. Their language was called Kiz or Kij, and they practiced cremation. Wow, it's kind of sad. I might be all alone in here. Let's turn on the camera and see if Al is outside. See what Al's doing. Let's see what Al's doing outside, and then we'll keep reading from this thing. Hello? Hello? Guess what I found out about Los Angeles? What? The Indians used to believe in supernatural creative forces.
Like God.
Yeah, and they believed in God.
That's a supernatural force.
Yeah, and guess what? You know, when I was in Los Angeles, they still one of the biggest industries was still the military aircraft.
Yep. Still is.
The business,
Yep.
like all that underground stuff or whatever
Yep.
that's the government.
Yep.
And now it's not anymore. And their biggest industry is only the entertainment industry and high tech. And it's like entertainment industry, and the entertainment industry isn't even that huge. It's pretty huge, but it's not that huge. But California still is the richest state. Like they make money at internet stuff and real estate and other stuff.
Yep.
It's the richest state. So, but it's not. But how are you?
I'm good. Waking up.
Cheese. Chief.
I'm waking up.
How are you?
I'm good.
Okay.
Can't complain.
What are you doing?
Making us breakfast.
Oh, I don't want any. I had a bunch of food already.
Okay. Not a problem.
Cool. No. What is these kind of things? Some woman coming up dancing. I like it. Is that what Tom would say?
I don't know what Tom would say.
What is this? Like some woman dancing? I like it. It's some. Anyway, I can't wait to leave. Sorry.
You can leave any old time.
Well, I'm gonna go. I guess I don't know unless I'll stay here.
You stay here.
Here's morels. Somebody can grow those outside. Al can or I can. I mean, I don't know. I don't care. I don't have the time. I'd like to. I never got to eat one morel when I was at this house where they eat mushrooms. Uncle Peter playing the saxophone doesn't talk like that. That's a cough phone. That's what they say. It's a sad sounding song. I can barely listen to it. I think I'll die. Sounds like the baby singing it.
Is that Alexa?
Like without me there for her as a father. She didn't know love as well as she. But she knows love. She hugs mama and lays behind her back when she's on the computer. And Ivan's close to her. Ivan hugs her and stuff. Rowan stopped hugging people as much. I don't know why. I guess because of the.
He's a teenager.
Yeah.
That's what teenagers do.
Yeah. It's too bad. Well, he can always stay at my house.
Yep.
When I get the money from selling this place.
Just keep telling him that you love him.
He can always stay at my house because he's my son. It doesn't matter how old he gets, but I'll help him to work at stuff. I got him 400. Well, I actually got him 400 or 500 million. I got him 500 million views or 400 million views. So he can do something he's actually fun to do when he gets older, instead of having to do some job that he doesn't like.
Does he play music?
Yeah, he's good at piano. My mom got him piano lessons. I taught him how to do art, music. I taught him how to do math, English, writing, stuff like that.
Oh, that's good.
I taught him math really well from a young age, more than most people their age. But then now, you know, they haven't been around me for as much. So I'm gonna go. I guess I'll go upstairs. Okay. This is like one of Rowan's friends. I painted on the wall. I painted it in like less than 5 minutes, a few minutes or something. I probably painted it in like 5 minutes. You do art too. You're good at art. Okay, I'm gonna go. Okay. I'm going. I don't know where else to go.
You want to go into town with me?
Where are you gonna go?
I'm gonna go to Lowe's and
I'm afraid to go to Lowe's.
okay.
Not really. I just don't want to go. Alexa.
Alexa.
Oh, you can keep playing. No. Hello? Okay.
Fire's nice too. Did you decorate those shoes, or do they come that way?
They're this way when I bought them.
They're cool.
Thanks. I guess I'll go upstairs. Alexa, play the song again.
Alexa, play Crosby, Stills, Nash and Young.
Alexa, play the song again. Shit, get me out of here. Okay. Bambo tando tito teo. I got to go pee. I got to go pee. Te ta te he ha hey yeah. Let's go. Bada pee papu papi pape yeah. Okay. Oh. Coltrane. This is Coltrane.
And a lot of guys in jazz, they kind of had they like Bird and guys like that.
Yeah.
They had their own style.
Oh,
and that's
no.
all they played. Coltrane
Oh, good.
played everything.
So
So
oh wait. Alexa, stop. Wait. There was this time when you were not here at the end of last year, like a few months ago, or whatever it was. I came downstairs, and it was like getting nighttime, and I heard this voice, and I didn't know where it was coming from.
was it Alexa?
No, it was like animals or creatures. And they, or something like that, or someone. And they said, "We like Owl. We like Owl better than you." But it wasn't mean. It wasn't mean.
Right.
The way I said it right then was it sounded mean.
Yes.
But they said, "We like Owl better than you." But in a nice way.
Right, it wasn't really me.
But it was really scary because I actually heard a voice say that.
Right.
And so I got kind of scared. It was like dark in the basement and down here a little bit. And so I just like went upstairs I went upstairs and I closed the door behind me and locked it upstairs and stayed upstairs. And then this is the thing that's really weird. This is the thing that's really weird. Hi. This is the thing that's really weird. In the basement, well, not in the basement. The basement's good. But I realized this is when I realized I think I know where the sound was coming from.
Right.
When they built this house in the crawl space,
down under
it's under the entire, goes under the house, under there. They put this little tree for decoration, and they put cement around it. It wasn't to hold up the house. It was already there in the ground, but they did something to it to keep it in there as a decoration, and they put a little light. Okay, you can check out more of that video on my channel. It's called Mythical Creatures of Solonovich and Owl Bob. And check this out. I show the basement that has this funny stuff. Not the basement, but the crawl space. This funny place where I heard the creatures. Okay. So check that out. It's really good. I'll try to put a link to it. Okay. The lives of the Tongva were governed by a set of religious and cultural practices that included belief in creative supernatural forces. They worshipped Chinigchinix, a creator god. Hey, the creator, the heavenly creator of everything as we know it, the most original, beautiful, good one of anyone to have ever lived, the creator of everything as we know it, God. And they called him Chinigchinix. They may have pronounced it differently. Chinigchinix. And Chuckit, a female virgin god. Forget that one. Their great morning ceremony was based on a belief in the afterlife. In a purification ritual, they drank tolguachi. Tolguaque. I think that's what it is. Tolguaque. Guaque. A hallucinogenic made from Jimson weed and salt water. Their language was called Kiz or Kij, and they practiced cremation. Generations before the arrival of the Europeans, the Tongva had identified and lived in the best sites for human occupation. The survival and success of Los Angeles depended greatly on the presence of a nearby and prosperous Tongva valley called Yanga, which was located by the freshwater artesian aquifer of the Los Angeles River. Sounds like Encino Man or something saying Yanga. And by the freshwater artesian aquifer of the Los Angeles River. Its residents provided the colonists with seafood, fish, bowls, pelts, and baskets. For pay, they dug ditches, hauled water, and provided domestic help. They often intermarried with the Mexican colonists. Those were the Spanish. Some of them were more white. Some of them were, a little darker skinned, and then mixed with the people in Mexico. And then they went to Los Angeles, which was still part of Mexico, and it was like New Spain or something. I think it was called New Spain they set up here. New Spain, yeah, at the very top when it started reading this stuff. Spanish era. In 1542 and 1602, the first Europeans to visit the region were Captain Juan Rodriguez Cabrillo. Rodriguez. And Captain Sebastian Vizcaino. Captain Juan Rodriguez Cabrillo. The first permanent non-native. The first permanent non-native presence began when the Portola expedition arrived on August 2nd, 1769. Plans for the Pueblo. The Pueblo. Although Los Angeles was a town that was founded by Mexican families from Sonora, it was the Spanish governor of California who named the settlement. In 1777, and I was born on 10/07/77. In 1777, Governor Felipe de Neve toured Alta California and decided to establish civic pueblos for the support of the military presidios. The new pueblos reduced the secular power of the missions by reducing the military's dependence on them. At the same time, they promoted the development of industry and agriculture. Governor de Neve identified Santa Barbara, San Jose, and Los Angeles as sites for his new pueblos. Hey, he's going to build houses. In 1777, his plans for them closely followed a set of Spanish city planning laws contained in the Laws of the Indies promulgated by King Philip II in 1573. You know what? I may do real estate in Los Angeles because of that. Those laws were responsible for laying the foundations of the largest cities in the region at the time, including Los Angeles, San Francisco, Tucson, San Antonio, Sonoma, Monterey, Santa Fe, and Laredo. The Spanish system called for an open central plaza, surrounded by a fortified church, administrative buildings, and streets laid out in a grid, defining rectangles of limited size to be used for farming, suertes, and residences, solares. It was in accordance with such precise planning specified in the Law of the Indies that Governor de Neve, he was the one who really did it, Governor de Neve founded the Pueblo of San Jose de Guadalupe, California's first municipality. That's like it sounds like the Lady of Guadalupe. On the Great Plain of Santa Clara on November 29th, 1777. Yay! November, like my son's birthday. My son Ivan's birthday is named after me in Russian or a different language. Ivan, American. English, of course, but in some foreign language it means John. In other languages, the Romance languages or something, or Russian, it means John. He's named after me, but a cool sounding, almost Viking, not Viking, but like, he has blonde hair and blue eyes. Pretty much. He has little blonde hairs on his body. He's 13, but he's really tall for 13. He has blonde hair and blue eyes. He's beautiful, Ivan. He's good. He's a child. He has a little boy's face and a big body. He has a young boy's face. He doesn't have facial hair yet or anything like that. I think. I can't see any. The pobladores, settlers, pobladores, that sounded Italian, is the name given to the 22 adults and 22 children from Sonora who founded Los Angeles. 22 were of African American or Native descent. Or 20 were of an African. Wow. 20 of the 44. Wait a second. This is the most beautiful thing I've ever heard. Look at this. I gotta tell Al. I'm walking downstairs. I put the light on. Guess what? Guess what, Al? Look what I just found out about Los Angeles. In 1777, the governor of California back then was Felipe de Neve. Yeah, a Spanish guy, but also may have been, I don't know. But there were 44 settlers who moved into Los Angeles to start building houses in 1777. And that's when my birthday is 10/07/77, has 3 sevens. And here's the good thing, and I think the Bible maybe 777 is good, but I hope to God it is. I'm not sure. I think it is. I have to look it up. But out of the 44 settlers who started Los Angeles, 20 of them were African American or Native American. So 20 of the 44 settlers were African American or Native American who lived there first. Yeah, when it was owned by called New Spain, which was Mexico. That was before it became America in the 1800s. Wow, that's amazing. I'm gonna keep talking, and so but the white people will say, well, the majority of them were white. 22 of them were like probably white, and 20 of them were Native American. Native American. In December, I'll read it from it. The pobladores, called settlers, is the name given to the 22 adults and 22 children from Sonora who founded Los Angeles under the but this cool guy who wanted to make things good in Los Angeles, and he started it. Yeah, he was the governor of California at the time. It was called Los Californias or something. And Governor de Neve, Felipe de Neve. So in December 1777, these 2 other people gave the approval for founding of a city municipality at Los Angeles and a presidio or garrison at Santa Barbara. I don't know what that is. I don't know what that stuff is. But then
that's a fort and a town.
Okay, but they started the place. I don't know. Hair on my body. I don't know. And the official date for the founding of Los Angeles is September 4th, 1781. I wonder what September 4th is.
September 4th is September 4th.
Do you remember anything that happened in September 4th?
No, not offhand.
The families had arrived from New Spain earlier in 1781. But that's pretty good. Yeah. That's 20 of the that's pretty good. Because did you say that a Native American owned the land here a long time ago? Mm-hmm. He did?
Oh, you mean yes. Basically what Inga and George bought this property from, I forget the name of the family, but they were Cherokee and Black.
Who owned this land?
Yes, and basically the Cherokee...
How far did they own?
Well, back in the day, they owned it all. And then they, the family got larger, and then this portion of the family sold this and sold that. But this chunk was sold to Inga and George by one of the last of those folks. He was Cherokee and he was Black.
Whoa.
And so they kind of hid up here.
That's why it was so cool. They did?
Yeah.
I think there are some native people who live out here amongst people, because like all the lights are usually off like there on the house, because I have a light here and a light there.
Right.
And that guy down there usually turns his light all the way off at night.
Yeah.
So one time I came walking out from down there as a surprise. There whoever may be in the woods was thinking there'd be no one out there. And I started walking out into the dark there, and it was pitch black. And I heard little bells and people like moving, and it looked like I could almost see them in the dark. They started to move, and I heard little tiny bells, like little bells on their clothes, like going.
That's what folk, and yeah, they're here, and this is like I said.
That's weird. That's so weird.
A spiritual place.
And I thought they were angels or something that were aliens.
Well, no, they're not aliens, but they are closer to angels than anything. I mean, we're all angels basically, and we are.
But is that why in Roanoke they have a picture of an Indian as their
yes,
as
the Cherokee, yep.
the Cherokee? But then they make his face kind of look red because like the white people settled here.
Basic trope of what Indian.
No. But they got along, and they may still. You think maybe they're still living in the woods somewhere?
No,
because I hear a man down there, like not all the way to Tim's house,
right.
Not all the way to Tim's house, but before that.
Right.
And when I'd go out on the porch, I'd hear him go, "John, hey John," but a white sounding guy.
Right.
Not a Native American sounding guy, a white sounding guy. He'd go, "John, hey, how are you?" Or something like that. He'd say, John, don't do this, John. But he was like some guy who lived out here, maybe who lives in like that old building that looks like it's fallen down. That's like between Tom's house and where Tim is. Where are you going?
I'm going down to Lowe's. I'm going to Harbor Creek. I'm going to go to Kroger's.
Oh, but what do you think? Do you think that guy's some Native American who got like white eyes, and he's always lived in the woods? Oh, and one time I saw all these internet signals from phones on my phone. Like they had hotspots or something, or internet signals, like they all lived out in the woods. But I've never seen a person there. But one time I found brand new Ray-Ban sunglasses in the woods.
Ooh.
Or not brand new, but they had dirt on them, like a little older.
Yeah.
I don't know what happened to them. And they looked just like my grandfather's sunglasses that he wore when he played jazz.
Well, there's always a logical explanation.
And I've never seen anyone in the woods who wasn't.
So, want anything? Just take this, put it in the bowl, put it in the microwave.
Oh, okay, but I'm not hungry.
Well, I'm just saying, it's waiting there for you.
Okay.
And I'll be back in 2 hours, give or take.
Wow, that's awesome.
I'll be back. Okay.
Okay, bye.
Is there anything you want or need?
No. But, no. No. Praise God. Praise Jesus.
Yes, praise God.
Bye.
See you, buddy. Here, let's close
Okay.
this door.
Bye. 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 Yeah. Seashells. Why did they have seashells at this house?
What?
Why did they have seashells like built into it, and they had some downstairs,
Just
a big
for
thing?
fun. You
Oh,
know,
okay.
They're artists.
Okay, bye.
They do things.
Yeah. Bye. It smelled like gas. I think his car burns a bunch of gas now. It got a little older. He bought it brand new when he was at this house. I'm going upstairs. I'm gonna go upstairs. Wow. I could leave it open if I lock the outside door, but I'm just gonna close it. So I think that's it. A pueblo. Okay. I think I'll just go. You can press pause on this and read it, or go to Wikipedia if you want to read it. Whoa. Terrifying. Okay, but this is good. The early American era. Oh, man. According to historian Mary Arpine, the U.S. Army swept into California with the surveyor, as well as the sword, and quickly translated Spanish and Mexican practices into cartographic representations. Under colonial law, land held by grantees was not disposable. It reverted to the government. It was determined that under U.S. property law, lands owned by the city were disposable. Also, the diseños, property sketches held by residents, did not secure title in an American court. Oh, that sucks. It was like kind of like Native American stuff, and they owned it. Now the government took control of it or something. California, it was cheap land anyway, but I don't know. Back then, it wasn't that bad, you know. California's new military governor, Bennett C. Riley. California's new military governor, Bennett C. Riley, ruled that land could not be sold that was not on a city map. In 1849, Lieutenant Edward Ord surveyed Los Angeles to confirm and extend the streets of the city. Wow, that's good. His survey put the city into the real estate business, creating its first real estate boom and filling its treasury. Street names were changed from Spanish to English. Oh, that's too bad. But many of them stayed. Further surveys and street plans replaced the original plan for the Pueblo with a new civic center south of the plaza and a new use of space. The fragmentation of Los Angeles real estate on the Anglo-Mexican axis had begun. Under the Spanish system, the residences of the power elite clustered around the plaza in the center of town. In the new U.S. system, the power elite resided in the outskirts. The emerging minorities, including the Chinese, Italians, French, and there's still Little Italy. That's really cool for my mom and, you know, other people in my family, that they have Little Italy there. French and Russians joined with the Mexicans near the plaza. In 1848, the gold discovered in Coloma, but, you know, they still have Little Italy there and these good Italian restaurants and stuff. And I guess that's why they had the Rat Pack and some of those people from New York who were famous people like you know, Frank Sinatra, Dean Martin, and other Italian kind of people. So and Sylvester Stallone is really Italian, and his mom is Jewish, but he really loves his father and his brother is named after his father, and he's very Italian. Their grandkids, or Sylvester Stallone's kids, are Italian and Jewish, but they're just as much Italian as they are Jewish. So many of them settled in the area north of the plaza that it came to be known as Sonora Town. During the gold rush years in Northern California, Los Angeles became known as the Queen of the Cow Counties for its role in supplying beef and other foodstuffs to hungry miners in the north. It was very Americanized. Among the cow counties, Los Angeles County had the largest herds in the state, but, you know, many Hispanic people, maybe Native American people, still living there. With the temperate, but very Americanized. You know, the same as how things were in the 1800s in the United States, you know. It was another one of those places in the United States that, you know, back then things were different. A little more English on the East Coast, I don't know. With the temporary absence of a legal system, the city was quickly submerged in lawlessness. Many of the New York regiment disbanded at the end of the war and charged with maintaining order with thugs and brawlers. They roamed the streets, joined by gamblers, outlaws, and prostitutes driven out of San Francisco and mining towns of North by vigilance committees or lynch mobs. Los Angeles came to be known as the toughest and most lawless city west of the Santa Fe. The toughest and most lawless city west of Santa Fe. Some of the residents resisted the new powers by resorting to banditry against the gringos. Gringos. Let's see what gringos says. Portuguese term masculine or gringo feminine is a term in Spanish and Portuguese for a foreigner, usually an English-speaking Anglo-American. There are differences in meaning depending on region and country. In Latin America is usually used to refer to non-Latin Americans. The term is often considered a pejorative in English, and in the United States its usage and offensiveness is disputed. The word derives from the It's offensive. It's offensive to me. I don't like it, gringo. In 1856, Juan Flores, somebody called me a gringo before. Juan Flores, walking around downtown Roanoke, a Mexican guy called me a gringo in the 2000s. I got angry. In 1856, Juan Flores threatened Southern California. Southern California. Southern California with a full-scale revolt. Banditry against gringos. Juan Flores threatened Southern California with a full-scale revolt. He was hanged in Los Angeles in front of 3,000 spectators. Tiburcia Vasquez, a legend in his own time among the Mexican-born population for his daring feats against the Anglos, was captured in present-day Santa Clarita, California on May 14, 1874. He was found guilty of 2 counts of murder by a San Jose jury in 1874 and was hanged there in 1875. Okay, if he killed somebody, unless it was for war, it may have been the Old Testament. I don't know if it was war or just he was a bad guy. God will judge him. God will judge him. We don't know. Los Angeles had several. He could have been a good guy. I don't know. I don't know what it was like back then. He could have been bad or good. I don't know. Good. I think he's good. I say it out of fear that I think he might have been bad. I think he was okay, and what he did, I have a feeling, was like for a warlike thing that he was doing that in the Old Testament is forgiven. So it's too bad. It may have been a little corrupt what happened all of a sudden with the white people taking their land and stuff like that. So I don't know. Los Angeles had several active vigilance committees during the era. Between 1850 and 1870, mobs carried out approximately 35 lynchings of Mexicans, more than 4 times the number that occurred in San Francisco. Well, that's in 20 years. It's not that bad, 35 lynchings. Los Angeles was described as undoubtedly the toughest town of the entire nation. Wow. The homicide rate between 1847 and 1870 averaged 158 per 100,000, 13 murders a year, which was 10 to 20 times the annual murder rate for New York City during the same period. Crazy. That was back then, a long time ago. It's safe there now. The fear of Mexican violence, well, the places I go. The fear of Mexican violence, and I may not even want to live there after hearing this. The fear of Mexican violence and the racially motivated violence inflicted on them further marginalized the Mexicans, greatly reducing their economic and political opportunities. John Gately Downey, the 7th governor of California, was sworn into office on January 14th, 1860, thereby becoming the first governor of Southern California. First governor of Southern California. Governor Downey was born and raised in Castle Sampson, County Roscommon, Ireland, and came to Los Angeles in 1850. He was born in Ireland. He was responsible for keeping California in the Union during the Civil War. Wow, I had no idea they were part of the Union. Wow. I had no idea about that. How are they in the Union? They probably didn't even know what the stuff was, and they just they probably just they pro- they probably just stayed away from it all. Los Angeles was incorporated as a U.S. city on April 4th, 1850. 5 months later, California was admitted into the Union. Although the Treaty of Guadalupe Hidalgo required the U.S. to grant citizenship to the Indians of former Mexican territories, it did not happen for another 80 years. Blah, 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 blah. I don't know what it said. If you understand way into school more than
me and you understand it better, it was harder for me to go to school, and I ended up at a really good school, so that's how hard it was for me at school. The Constitution of California deprived Indians of any protection under the law, considering them as non-persons. If I'm not interested in something, I don't really I don't really understand what it means, and I wasn't interested in that. I didn't like it, so I didn't understand what it meant, and that just told what it meant. It was them depriving Indians of any protection under the law, considered them as non-persons, non-people. That's wrong. As a result, it was impossible to bring an Anglo to trial for killing an Indian or forcing Indians off their property. Anglos concluded that the quickest and best way to get rid of their troublesome presence was to kill them off, and this procedure was adopted as a standard for many years. Ugh, that's terrible. With the coming of U.S. citizens, disease took a great toll among Indians. Self-employed Indians were not allowed to sleep over in the city. They faced increasing competition for jobs as Mexicans moved into the area and took over the labor force. Those who loitered or were drunk or employed were arrested and auctioned off as laborers to those who paid their fines. They were often paid for work with liquor, which only increased their problems. When New England author and Indian rights activist Helen Hunt Jackson toured the Indian villages of Southern California in 1883, she was appalled by the racism of the Anglos living there. Oh, this is just craziness, them fighting one another, all this, I don't know which one to side with. It was just really bad. It's sad that they looked at the Indians that way, but then the Indians probably killed the white people for doing it, and who knows what. It was just like they had problems when they were trying to, during this time in the 1800s, mid to late 1800s, they had problems. It just sucked. She wrote that they treated Indians worse than animals, hunted them for sport, robbed them of their farmlands, and brought them to the edge of extermination. While Indians were depicted by whites as lazy and shiftless, she found most of them to be hard-working craftsmen and farmers. Jackson's tour inspired her to write her 1884 novel, Ramona, which she hoped would give a face to the atrocities and indignities suffered by the Indians in California. It did. The novel was enormously successful, inspiring 4 movies and a yearly pageant in Hemet, California. Many of the Indian villages of Southern California survived because of her efforts, including Morongo, Cahuilla, Soboba. They have these boba drinks there. It tastes pretty good. I don't know if I'll drink them or not. Temecula, Pachanga, and sound like a white guy saying all this, and Warner Springs. Remarkably, the Tongva also survived. In 2006, the Los Angeles Times reported that there were 2,000 of them still living in Southern California. Some were organizing to protect burial and cultural sites. Others were trying to win federal recognition as a tribe to operate a casino. Some of those casino owners in New Mexico and places like that got rich. The Indian ones, the Native American ones, they got rich off of making casinos. The city's first newspaper, Star of Los Angeles, began its run in 1851, was in English and Spanish. In the 1870s, Los Angeles was still little more than a village of 5,000. Wow, they still had, they had about 5,000 then, who replaced the Indian 5,000, who was around, in 3000 BC. Now they're the new people who are like a little whiter, more white, almost no Indians, and they spoke Spanish and English. Wow, really weird. And some Indian, I guess some Indian. I don't know. We'll see. Maybe no Indians. This sucks. Well, it's not that bad. Then remember the Native Americans are, and then all east of Los Angeles and east of California is all the Native American stuff. Many of those states close to California are Native American, so I feel good there. It's the history of America. It goes way back further than just
the white guys from Europe, even though, I'm Irish and Italian.
I have the DNA of the white guys from Europe, but also Sicilian. And Sicilian may have been, in history was near Africa, I think. I don't know. So that may go back to like some of the Native Americans who are more almost blacks or African, or who knows. That would be a small percentage. I looked up my DNA. That's about 0.6% or 0.3%. And you'll find many Southerners who are white have more black DNA than I do because they're in the South when they had slaves. So, I have very little black DNA. It's like 0.3% or 0.1 or 0.3. But I do have Italian DNA.
So, I guess I'm pretty much a white guy, but when I was little, I didn't say I'm white. I didn't say that, I said I'm beige.
I said I'm beige, and I was nice to everybody. I didn't even know there was such thing as race. It was like a dream, it was like a good dream when I was a little kid. Much of Los Angeles was a farmland, it says at the top of this page. Much of Los Angeles was a farmland with an emphasis on cattle, dairy products, vegetables, and citrus fruits. After 1945, most of the farmland was converted into housing. There were railroads. The first railroad was in October of 1869 by John G. Downey and Phineas Banning. It ran 21 miles between San Pedro and Los Angeles. Then, Harry Gray Otis, founder and owner of the Los Angeles Times, and a number of business colleagues embarked on reshaping Southern California by expanding that into a harbor at San Pedro using federal dollars. Okay. This is the stuff they did. In 1874 to 1879, a streetcar service in Los Angeles began with horse cars and some electric streetcars. They had electric streetcars back then in 1887 to 1963 and other cars. Cable cars, trolleys. They had tracks and railroads all throughout the city, and then eventually that is no longer that way. Oil was discovered by Doheny. Doheny is a famous name. There's Doheny Drive, I think. It's a road, and all these like Doheny Foundation or something and stuff. He's a famous guy in Los Angeles. Edward L. Doheny.
Edward L. Doheny in 1892 near the present location of the Dodger Stadium. Brooklyn Dodgers. They were the Brooklyn Dodgers, then they went to Los Angeles. They changed the name to Los Angeles. Was the first of many fields in the basin to be exploited. And in 1900 and 1902, the Beverly Hills oil field and Salt Lake oil fields were discovered a few miles west of the original find. Los Angeles became a center of oil production in the early 20th century, and by 1923, the region was producing 1/4 of the world's total supply. It is still a significant producer, with the Wilmington oil field having the 4th largest reserves of any field in California. Boomtown, 1913-1941, Hollywood. Hollywood has been synonymous worldwide with the film industry for over 100 years. It was incorporated as the City of Hollywood in 1903, but merged into LA in 1910. In the 1900s, movie makers from New York found the sunny, temperate weather more suitable for year-round location shooting. And you know how it got started? There was a subdivision. Here's how Hollywood got started. There was a subdivision they were going to call Hollywood Land, with some higher priced homes in Los Angeles, Hollywood Land. And they wrote it on the hill, Hollywood Land. I think they had it, but then it started falling off the land. So they took off land and just called it Hollywood. And then they liked it so much that, and everyone could see it, they just called the entire place Hollywood. And as time went by, they called it Los Angeles, and Los Angeles is synonymous with Hollywood. And the movie industry, they call Hollywood sometimes, and so it's pretty amazing. It boomed into the cinematic heart of the United States, and it has been the home and workplace of actors, directors, singers that range from small and independent. You know, I was independent, and I want to go into the studio movie range stuff now, you know, eventually one day, instead of independent. But I'll see. I might keep doing independent, to world famous, leading to the development of related television and music industries. Like Danica does films and videos and stuff too, so hopefully we can live near one another. I don't know where we're going to live, but I think I don't know. But I think I have to move to near Los Angeles and then get them to live there, because that's where they pay well for the movie stuff. And I think my videos will go bigger from there. It's the main industry in Los Angeles nowadays, the entertainment industry. So it's way more likely to make money there. And I know it better than almost any of those random people, you know. On the internet, you see people with cheap green screen. They used a cheap filter. They used a cheap filter on Snapchat or TikTok or something. They do a cheap green screen and half their body is cut off, and they're like, it cuts in and out with this cheap green screen. It doesn't look real. And they don't even know how to do a real green screen. They don't know how to make a film. They don't know how to write a screenplay. I know how to do all of that really well. I studied that and went to one of the best film schools where I got my MFA, and learned by teaching myself to how to edit all the details of post-production, recording my own music, writing my own music. I know how to do it really, really, really well. So they pay when someone knows how to do that stuff. They pay well when someone knows how to do that stuff there. They pay really well. So I'm probably going to go there, because doing it all on your own from here, where did it get me? Maybe the best in film and video in Virginia, or the best resume in film and video in Virginia. I have famous people on my resume: Pauly Shore, Ed Asner. I was in a commercial where I was one of the lead actors that Ed Asner did the voiceover. My friend Justin did in film school. And I hired other celebrities in my films. I worked with dozens of celebrities, I guess, in films, or hundreds of them if you call work with just being in a movie. And I wrote and directed 3 feature films. I have maybe 2,000 videos online. I have more than 40 original music videos for my original songs, or songs that I played music in and wrote along with other people, but mostly did all of it myself. Wrote all the music myself, and and the entire feature films myself that I wrote the real screenplays and did properly in real movies. And got them distributed in video stores in every state, everywhere you can find movies online pretty much. And I'm an actor, and I know how to do it really well. So that's the place for me, then God will let me know. And I think God already let me know. I think I'm going to go there, because it hasn't gotten there yet from here. So I'm probably going to go. I don't think God's going to have me die before I get there. So I'm going to go. I'm going to go to Los Angeles. Okay. Praise God. Praise Jesus. Let's read some more. Griffith Park. The Griffith Observatory. The Griffith Observatory is where that guy James Dean did that film where he says, "You're tearing me apart," and the Griffith Observatory in Rebel Without a Cause. And he died. A devastating brush fire in October 1933. October 3rd, 1933, killed 29 and injured another 150 workers in Griffith Park. Okay. That's a big fire. They haven't had any like that since then, probably, with 150 people dying. That's terrible. I should probably shave my face and work on my appearance more, but I've been getting my house ready to rent out or sell or something like that. I think I'm going to go to California, but I don't know. Somebody buys it, I'll see. I might go to an island somewhere. I might buy an island somewhere or buy land somewhere with a house on it. With a house. I don't know where I'm going to go, but my films and videos haven't worked from here, and then Danica and the kids haven't been here for so long, so I'm just not going to live here anymore, I guess. But I'm going to get all the money for my house. I'm not going to be here, but I'm going to live here until it sells. I'm going to live here until it sells. LAX, the Los Angeles International Airport, opened as a private airport in 1930. It became LAX in 1941. Or Los Angeles Airport in 1941. The Burbank Airport, Hollywood Burbank Airport. Now it's called the Bob Hope Airport. Baby boomers. So that was like in 1896, that was $20 a month to rent. 1896. And then in 1946, it was $70 a month, about the same price for 4 of them. Oh, it's rented as 4 separate apartments for $70 a month. So it became worth about 3 or 4 times as much in 50 years. After World War II, hundreds of land developers bought land cheap, subdivided it, built on it, and got rich. You can do it too if you work hard at real estate. It's a pretty simple equation. You just work hard at it, be good at it. It's not even an equation. You just study it, work at it, have 2 jobs, your regular job and real estate, until you start building real estate. By the time you're a little older, quit your regular job as soon as you're able to only do real estate, and it'll make way more money when you're working at the real estate only, and work really hard at it, and you'll get rich if God wants you to. God may not have you do it, but it makes good money. I only did it 5 or 6 hours a day, 5 days a week, with vacations since 2005, or a little longer than that, a little more hours, 5 or 6 hours a week, or a little more than that. This is how I used to. When I first worked for my parents, I used to work 5 or 6 hours a week. I barely worked at all, and then eventually I had to work 18 hours a day some days. It sucked. I never want to do it again. And I made up for when I didn't work that hard when I was younger. I didn't like it. But if you have more money, you can hire other people to do it or something. I don't want to do it. I don't like the problems that show up. I'd rather do movies. I'm really good at movies. It hasn't happened yet for me with the movies, but Danica did, and I believed in her and the kids with all I had. And no one really believed in me to really, really make it, but they believed in me. They believed in me. I don't know, but no one believed in me like I was able to believe in her and the kids. No one was able to do that for another human being like I was, besides God and Jesus, who I know. That's why they made it, I think. And they're really good at what they do, because we do it as a family, acting, making videos. She's good at the algorithms. She knows how to get views. Who cares? Don't talk about it. They want to attack you. They're angry. Well, they had these brush fires back then. They have fires, but it's not a problem. It's not a worry. You can get away from them. You get in a car and drive away. Hardly anybody dies from them. What's the worst going to happen? A house burned down and nobody was in it. Usually. That's just how people haven't died that much there in their natural disasters. Same as Same as some other places in the U.S., but other places are more affordable to live. And if you want to get famous, you can do it on videos from anywhere. So there's no reason to like all start going to California or something. Unless it's me and her and the kids. Here's the references they used. What is that, Estrada? Oh, Eric Estrada. Well, all these references, okay. That goes on forever. History of the San Fernando Valley. No. Let's not read that one this time. Don't make a joke of myself. That was a really good, informative thing. That was a really good thing to read about the history of Los Angeles. Okay, and the San Fernando Valley is pretty good too. I may end up living there, I don't know. I don't know if I'm going to live there or not. I haven't washed my hair in many days, so I'm going to go. I hope to be showering and shaving every day in a place where I don't have to feel like a hippie. No, I don't know. Okay, praise God, praise Jesus, believe in God and Jesus and you'll be saved. Bye, this is John Birmingham. Bye. I love Rowan, Ivan, their baby sister Ayla. I love them. I hope everyone watching is okay. Dear God and Jesus, be with us on earth. Those watching this video and all my family. I'm going to go. Bye. Praise God. Praise Jesus. This is John Birmingham. Bye.